Okay, so hi everybody. Today we will be continuing the last Friday webinar about many topics, including astral travel, meditation, and otherworldly experiences. Today, by now, I don't know who's watching, but we have Olga, Modestas, Carlos, and Elvis with us. Maybe somebody will join later. And of course, the parrot in the background, you will maybe hear him a couple times. So, hello, Carlos, how are you doing?
Hi. Okay. Quite well.
Quite well.
Had quite well. I had an interesting dream tonight. Actually, I'd like to share. Um,
Yeah.
I'll start by telling you that my grandmother's brother died this week, and today was his funeral. And I had a dream tonight. And at the dream I met my relatives, and they were just greeting me, shaking my hand, and looking all very happy. But I think it could be very interesting and quite connected thing with the funeral. Who knows?
Sometimes when people die, they like tend to see who and what came to the funeral, and so I had the same experience just maybe 1 month ago or something. Uh, my uh, grand grandfather died, and I was like, okay, maybe if he will come and visit me, and we have a chat or we can talk about something. And he did visit in dream state, and he just showed me how the people were celebrating when his funeral, but I wasn't there, so I didn't see anything. It wasn't a close relative, but it was a relative, and I think I wasn't in Latvia or something like that.
Maybe
So
tonight I'll see the funeral.
yeah. So Modestas, you were talking that you were reading the Emerald tablets, I guess they were called.
Yeah, there's a book called Emerald Tablets. Yeah, I read it. It just finished today. It's quite interesting. It's I don't know. I don't have any words to describe it. But it's quite good knowledge. But I don't know. Carlos said that you read some of it and you didn't get it, so it might
But
not be
that was
where.
at the time. I haven't
Oh
read
yeah.
it now. Maybe I'll understand it more.
Uh, if you want, I can share it with you. I have I think the ebook. I think
I'll
I would
check
say.
if
Let's
I
call
don't
it.
have it.
Yeah,
Also.
there's a website called crystallinks.com. There's also written there. I mean the book.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, also,
the
I've heard
information is
about
cool.
a lot of books. Also, besides that, like Red Dragon or The Grand Grimoire, The Black Bullet or something like that, all connected, I think, with the idea. I haven't read them, but I have them
Oh.
on my desktop in like to read list.
Mm. Yeah, I have a couple of books to read too, but as for now, the Emerald Tablets ones are quite interesting to me, and like I'm kind of resonating with them. So it's cool, but the information is, I don't know, like I don't know really how to describe it. It's like telling how for example you can achieve bigger states of consciousness, and also to keep that consciousness in your own body. So that's quite cool, because what I've experienced with the higher states of consciousness, they're like for a short amount of time, just like I don't know, like a little of ecstasy in a moment. And
Hmm.
yeah, and usually what I do, I just try to observe, but the what goes on in the mind is quite funny, because it in a way you're losing your mind, and you're feeling so much, So that's interesting. I would say that's interesting. But I learned from that whenever, for example, your body and your mind is like generating, for example, some sort of energy, you can actually transfer it and change it to a different different state of energy, which is quite new to me. Recently, I found out that, for example, whenever your second chakra is like overflow with the energy, you can turn it into creativeness, or just turn it into pure excitement. So that's amazing. That's like a life hack. If you get horny, you just go, write something, or just turn it into excitement and just go for a walk or for a run, for a jog. I don't know, just do something, which is quite cool because I remember me myself from the past. I would struggle with this, and sometimes I do now. But it's interesting piece of information for me, for my own growth, I would say. But there's a lot, and even from my own experiences, there's a lot of it. So I don't know, just I'm open to any topic to discuss today. So what are your thoughts, guys?
Well, I would say that's interesting.
Yeah, I would need to get my book if you want to know, if you not want to hear some more, because there's also interesting things.
I don't read books. Maybe I have read only one book. It's not my how do you say, it's not my way of perceiving information.
Ah, well, I found out about channeling for myself. Like, it's interesting for me. It's interesting, how it happened and how it was up to now. So, like, you are the person who is channeling always, like, gathering information and so on and on.
Yeah.
Me, I'm like sitting myself and channeling for myself, and trying to understand myself, which is kind of amazing, like. No, you like kind of you delve into a bigger space of existence, But what I found out that there's lack of human interaction in my life. That's what I found out, and also another thing that I found out that whenever I'm interacting with people in any conversation or just being by them, I get to learn more about myself and the person. So it's also exciting. Sometimes I'm feeling like Enrico, he's like, this is exciting, da 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 da, and sometimes I do tap into that, like, similar excitement energy, and it's even more cooler.
Yes. I was one time having a communication with Enrico, and I was asking, well, what do you say to a person who is sick or ill and doing really bad?
Mm.
Enrico said, "Wow, this is so exciting. This is extraordinarily exciting." I said, "What? How can you be sad about the new experience that you are having?" And the person's like, "Well, I want to get better. I want to, get out of this illness or something." And Enrico is saying, "But this is so amazing that you have this experience. You can be excited by this experience. Why are you trying to avoid it or trying to be in a way, a state of mood that you are like in a sense negative to it?"
Yeah, yeah.
And the person was like, and the information then at that point was like, there are two types of understandings that the people might get, or like conclusions that the people might get. One is that they're like, oh, this is just a waste of time. I need to get to a doctor or something. I need to do something. And the other point is that the person comes to a revolution, is like, hey, yeah, why am I looking to it negatively? Why am I looking to it from like a sadder point of view? And it's like he was showing like this was interesting for me. And sometimes I classify myself also when I'm uh, for a longer period of time, like not uplifted. Let's say maybe I had a lot of work and so on.
Mm.
Then I get to myself. I try to remember what Enrico would say to me at this point, and then when I remember, I start to laugh. It's like, no. The thing is that people need to understand that they choose how they feel or how they react to this situation they are having,
Mm.
and that that was it to this story. Um,
Yeah. What I learned from the books, which I would say, like, one of them is also the Emerald tablets, and Eckhart Tolle's books.
Yeah,
Uh, I learned that in this situation, what a cool thing is to do is to practice presence, the moment of now, and also acceptance. Uh, because what happens, for example, there's a situation, right? Let's take me for example, right?
yeah,
I broke my foot, right? So
yeah,
I had like interesting things to do that I wanted to do some things like this season is like busy season. You can make a lot of money if you're working. For example, this was my idea for the future in the past, right? So I broke my foot and I couldn't do anything, and unfortunately I cannot do anything right now. Like I can't use my foot accordingly like I used to. But from that thing, like I started to read those books, the Eckhart Tolle books, and then I read that you need to practice acceptance. You know, you accept the present moment the way it is, and don't label it in any like in anything.
yeah,
So, like interesting realization came in because, for example, I'm sitting outside smoking, and I'm thinking, "Well, this is a shitty moment," you know. Like, but then I calmed myself down, and then I realized like, this is the present moment, which is like, for example, when you do tap into the present moment, time does not exist for you. Well, it does flow, but it doesn't
yeah,
exist. So basically what you're doing at that moment is the biggest and like most exciting thing that you're actually doing, which is present. So when I tapped into that, I
yeah,
I tried to look around me, like what's all around me. So I would like see the things far away better. For example, I'm looking at forest. I'm seeing branches which are like, let's say 200 meters away from me or 100 meters away, even maybe further away. I'm starting to hear everything around me more clearly.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
then when you do accept it, you just tap into yourself, to your senses, which is cool because many times we do forget that we have those.
Yeah, this is a really important thing that you described. So basically, it's like what the meditation opens to you is that you become more and more connected with those senses by being peaceful, by being in an altered state, by being calm. And another thing is which I want to share is that it's also a way of expanding your energy. It's also a way of expanding your, I would say, also consciousness. But also, what it helps is being better in channeling. So, what it does is how I see it's when you open up, when you lose the
Resistance,
active
maybe.
mind. Like,
Hmm.
what do you mean? What?
Resistance.
Well, when you resistance, yeah, maybe resistance also. But the idea is that when you lose this I need to do that. I need to do this. Like I was sharing the Enrico story just a seconds ago that I I have this illness. I have this problem. I need to solve this problem. I need to do something. You're constantly giving your energy out, or you're constantly
Yeah,
blocking your energy flow. Also, that you're trying to run somewhere. You're trying to do somewhere. You're not allowing this moment to flow through you, to flow and be. So this is
exactly.
yeah, so I have heard somewhere else, and I think it's a good meditation to practice that while you're, for example, somewhere outside or in your room, try to look at, for example, you take a flower
Mm.
and look and on stop on the flower, and while you're looking constantly on the flower, uh, just look at it, just observe the flower. And one time I was doing this, I remember this. I was doing I was I don't know somewhere near a lake, and there was a flower, and I decided to look at her for a couple of times, but it was like 7 or 8 years earlier from this moment. And then I realized that while I'm looking at the flower, all of a sudden my like active mind goes away. My the same thing what we talk about. My like nervousness. I need to do something. It goes away,
Yeah, yeah,
and then I started experiencing the same thing what you are talking. I started to hear sounds far away. I started to feel everything far away. I even picked up that my like eye vision was nearly maybe for 10 to 20 degrees wider, I could pick up lots of more information that's going on. So, for example, imagine you in a meditative state, or you be living consciously in this state for a longer period of time. You can also start picking up like telepathical messages, like, somebody's thinking about you, like, hey, you need to do this. You have a new idea about something. You become really sensible because you're not looking in a completely different direction. You're not thinking about problems or stuff like this, or trying to label something at this moment that this is a problem or this isn't a problem, so on.
Mhm. Yeah, of course.
Uh, I okay, I forgot. I remembered, and instantly at that point I forgot what I remembered.
What you described is like, well, yeah, I do like tap into my own like force of energy, and then I like observe it. Like checking what's not in the way. What has resistance and on and on.
Mhm.
Um, there's another thing that I get like usually when I'm walking, for example, on the street, and for example when people are looking at me, I'm like feeling like some kind of like twitch, like and like then I look around and see like like two ladies are just checking me out, like they're going, they're checking. Like I didn't know that they're watching at me, but I feel it, like the vision of like interactional feeling is like wider for me. uh well, it was today only because
Mhm.
I do smoke some cannabis occasionally, so that makes it twice as,
Occasionally. Accidentally.
not accidentally, intentionally, but yeah, I was in that point. But what I mean is like it makes it twice as stronger, the energetical feeling, for example, which I found out that it makes it more stronger. And I'm learning from it. I'm learning from it. Sometimes it's hard to take in, but what can you do? you're trying you're trying to make it better. Um, so it's quite interesting to be only by myself, but when there's people, it's quite more exciting because then you get to tap into their energetical field, and then you like feel yourself like and their emotions in you. So always interesting. It's always interesting and unexpected, which is the greatest thing in this universe. That when you go in here, you just do things that you don't expect. That's that's the place where you need to be. That's the best place to be. Like today, I don't know. Like I was doing something, and oh yeah, I found out one thing, but I failed to practice it. So I don't know if you heard, but you can have like a full body orgasm, not just only with your genitals, but full body. So when I was presented with this idea, I wanted to use it in a good cause, and I thought about using the ability to heal with this massive, like tremendous amount of energy. If I could have achieved this in full body, what happened? What happened was funny that I was thinking too much, and I couldn't at that moment. I didn't use the ability to actually apply that knowledge that I unveiled. But yeah, then I went down, to make myself some tea, and I don't know, it like I felt like there was something more to me, like I was channeling some entity, because whenever I was picking stuff up,
Yeah.
I was filled with excitement. Like I'm I'm putting a kettle on and like, oh fuck, I need to put some more water. This is so cool. Pouring some water, and you're like trembling in your body because it's so exciting. Then you push the button and you wait, and you're just like tapping with your foot like a little dog, because you're waiting for it to for the water to boil. And then you continue with the thing, and like I was so into that excitement, and then I forgot how to apply that information. So that was uncool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always wanted to try that, but whatever. What can you do? Something is when consciousness vibration arises in myself. I sometimes lose myself too much into it, and then I don't get enough of the wisdom that comes with it too. Because whenever you tap into that like field of being here and now. And
Yeah.
when you tap into this like silence and calmness, then actually what happens is like then you become a channel for your own consciousness, you know. And then it's basically the same thing as when you're channeling. But for my own experiences, whenever I channel, it's usually like I'm feeling a different energy, and then I'm trying to put this energy in my body and you know, to get the translation. But
Mm.
whenever I'm in that state, I'm feeling like myself, you know, like nothing, there's nothing like other than myself, you know. And that's a new feeling for me, because when we're living on this planet, we make a lot of untrue selves to ourselves, and we think that it's true, but it's not. So basically what we do is we fool ourselves. But what I found out that's so cool about this particular planet that we call Earth is that the incarnations are just like off the charts, you know. It's like
Off the
it's
charts.
yeah, it's like the biggest playground for the spirit, you know. Like imagine this in the spirit form, you know. For example, imagine yourself as a higher self, you know. Like, okay, I'm deathless, you know, I don't die, and I want to know a lot about myself. So what should I do? Let's go to Earth. Let's forget about myself. Let's fool ourselves that we are something different than ourselves, and then let's try and find myself, you know.
Yeah, I had a quote which I remembered. It was more like a joke to me, but I don't know. Whatever how I perceive it, I don't remember. But
Yeah.
what I remember was that uh, it was funny. Uh, uh, a being was asking, like a joke to me, why do we have so many televisions and cameras here on our planet?
Mm.
I said like I don't know, and the being was like starting to laugh or being excited because even you like to observe yourselves how interesting you are. Like
Yeah, yeah.
unconsciously. And then I was like, I figured out a moment, and then I understood, like, whenever you watch television or whatever, you like some news or like somebody is doing an important speech or like a politician radio show or TV show, everybody's faking. Everybody's not true. Everybody's like, yes, for example, a policeman, yes, I'm a policeman, this was a serious situation, we're doing our best, and whatever he's doing, he's like, oh god, I hope I don't spoil this interview, I need to pretend that I'm a policeman, I need to be serious in this state. And
Yeah.
everybody is just playing out the roles, playing out actors, like, and to me at that point, it was funny for me. um,
But you know, you can put yourself in that perspective too.
yeah. from,
Have you ever
from my
tried to do that?
perspective, like, we are trying here to rediscover what the universe actually is, or how is it made, or something. But the point is, it's already made, and we are
Yeah.
just part of it, so we don't have to think about it. But we are like, hey, but maybe it's this, maybe it's that, maybe it should be something like this, and some of the channels and gets information. Yeah, maybe the beings were saying something about this. We're always trying to figure out something with our minds.
Yeah, we
And
don't need to figure out stuff with our minds. We just need
yeah,
to observe. That's what we need to do. Like, have you tried to just observe like what people are doing is it's the best TV show ever, you know? Like I don't know, just walking down the street, you can just like, you know, watch what other people are doing, you know? When you
yeah.
when in the past I would always think like, if I watch this person, oh gosh, would he see me that I'm watching, you know? Just take that thought out of your head, you know, because everyone's watching when you're around. Doesn't matter. So you can see a lot of drama. You can see a lot of drama. So I don't know why we're watching TV. Just go outside, you know, go to the bigger city, and you're gonna see a lot. Just tap into it, and it's interesting. It's really interesting.
Sometimes I get instant awakening when I'm in a huge cafeteria.
Mhm.
There's like 30, 50, 100 people. Sometimes we have a big cafe here in Latvia, and then you look around and everybody is eating and non-stop eating, and that's what you see all the day. Everybody's eating and eating and eating,
Oh,
and I'm just mind blown. And I'm looking, and I cannot accept this. It's like one part of humanity is just constantly eating. Like, maybe 30% of people are all over the world right now are eating at
eating
this
and
very moment.
sleeping.
Yeah, and maybe 50% sleeping.
Yeah. Well, that's what we need to do. You know, our 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 only jobs are to, you know, take care of the body and have a shelter. That's it. That's what we need.
Well, I'm
Everything
not
else.
sure about taking care of the body because sometimes I think they're consciously people are trying to get rid of their body,
Oh
get
yeah.
rid of their body, doing causing pains and stuff and sadnesses and so on.
Yeah, I
So
used to do that too. Sometimes in a way I'm doing that today or like now.
break my legs and feet.
Yeah. Yeah, break my leg. No, no, like pain is really I found out that pain is really good thing. And for one thing, to expand the consciousness, for it to circulate, because well, people are like not people, but humanity is like interesting breed, you know. whenever
Breathe.
something whenever something bad happens and like really bad, then people try to not try, but then people are like, you know, maybe that's not the best way to, you know, to do things. Then they learn, you know, when something bad happens, you know. We had World War I. Well, you know, it wasn't enough, so we had the second one, you know. And then we made the change.
But we need another one.
Yeah, you know, maybe we need another one. That's funny too because I don't know, like there is a feeling like there might be a war, because when I was starting the channel, I was receiving a lot of information about, not a lot, but a little information about the upcoming war. But I never understood it, if it's gonna be like a normal conflict, like it was like the World War Two, or what will be like something different, because well, times are changing rapidly, and I don't know what warfare it might be. Might be just, you know, like people, like, you know, chatting on Twitter, you know, warring there. I don't know.
Oh, that's the end of the world. No,
Yeah.
one thing it will cause even bigger destruction would be Facebook is closed by 10 minutes, for 10 minutes. And people at cafes cannot do a selfie anymore. They cannot check in, and everybody's like complete disaster.
Yeah, maybe that. I don't know. I'm not looking a lot of my thought into it, because I don't know. It's kind of, you know, war is kind of a fearful idea. Today was like, or yesterday, I don't know. I turn on TV and I see some guy from Lithuania speaking about how much of military we have and what equipment we have. Like, I don't give a shit about that. Like, I have to turn it off, because whenever you're watching news, you're watching like shit. Understand that. Just understand that, and don't take it personally. You know. Yeah, there are like stuff are going on in this planet, but we have to realize that, you know, that's not part of our experience. For example, I'm in fucking Lithuania, and I'm not in I don't know, like in the war zones or something. That doesn't touch me, you know. I know that it is there. It's not right, you know. I would say it's not right, but well, people need their
I remember
experiences.
I remember one story. I was talking about this. I don't remember which being, but I remember the information that oh no, it was Enrico,
Mm.
and that there is everything is divided into zones. For example, if you want to do like a warfare or something like this, you have a particular area where you can be born and do this, and there are areas where you are born and there's like different experiences going on at those areas, and at some point there was a huge um will beings from all over the universe that they want to incarnate here, experience many stuff like crazy stuff. And
Mm,
and they said, okay, so the moon orbitary station, the moon, no, the planet moon which hovers around Earth,
mhm,
there's like what I understood, there's like assistance in helping to incarnate, and different beings and stuff. And what they were having difficulties of dealing the territories where everything happens. You
mhm,
have to find a place for everybody that wants to incarnate and so on. And Enrico was sharing this funny story when they wanted to incarnate at the age of the caveman age. And those two beings wanted to incarnate because they wanted to hit each other over the head with a bat or with a stick. And when they come down here on Earth, they were so excited. They were playing around, dancing around, and they discovered that there is pain. Like you can get hurt yourself. And they took a bat and started to hit each other and started to laugh. But at that point, they realized that they get angry about this. They hit and they get more angry and they want to hit back. And they were just hitting each other. And their incarnation ended at that point.
mm,
And there are different beings that nowadays that want to, like, they as they said, we have experienced so much pain, but we
mm.
want to experience more pain. We want to experience more, like, stuff that we can experience here. And they were like willing to be exploded in a car. They were willing to get fall down from a skyscraper or something like this. They just want to experience this. They want to feel how it feels, like amusement park and stuff like this. And so from that perspective, then I would say yes, there is like beings that come here that want to experience the stuff they want to experience, and therefore they have this territory which is divided by here, and you can go there and experience whatever you wish. It's a huge one big playground.
Yeah, yeah. That's how I see
Explode yourself as many times as you wish.
it. Yeah, but we do get attached. So I don't know. I want to learn from this life more than I already have. So I'm gonna stay.
uh,
But yeah, it is interesting. Like the incarnations and all. Like yeah, it kind of. I again reminded myself about the emerald tablets. Like that thing is fascinating, but there's a lot of like information that you also mentioned, and there's like in a different perspective of it, and that's cool.
yeah,
But um, yeah, like I don't know, like what does interest me is like for some reason, like the universe,
yeah.
how it's made and every like the dimensions of it and so on and so on. But the more I try to get to know more about it, like when I receive the information, it's like I just can't handle it because it's too much. Like it's too precise, I would say.
Well, you should share details.
Well, for example, I learned that so I would say in this, like I was reading the emerald tablets of Thoth, and during the nighttime I would receive like something more, like a lot, like energy, not energy, but information to it. So for 2 nights I couldn't handle because my brain, my mind was like, like how is this and how is that,
Mm-hmm.
like getting into places. But on the third day, I don't know, like if I was in sleep or not. I don't know, but I would consider this like, for example, imagine you yourself in a spaceless space. Like imagine yourself, for example, your body, right, and everything around you is nothing, basically nothing. So that's how I was presented. But I was apparently like I was taught about the space, how it was in a way created, and how different
Mm-hmm.
aspects are like just getting, for example, uh, getting known by our science. And I understood from that, for example, science cannot comprehend everything. Like science cannot know the laws about universe if they are not going to explore spirituality. Because what
Yeah.
science is trying to accomplish is they are just trying to understand two-dimensional aspects of this world, which is possible by science. But if you want to know like third dimensional and more, you need to go into sacred geometry and more, and more into spirit. So basically, I'm gonna go back about the space. I understood that space is made from matter, light, and sound. These
Mm-hmm.
are like the three aspects that are essential for space time to even exist, and the whole reality to exist even. So basically, matter is everything that actually is. That we have like table, a computer, our skin. Everything that is physical is matter, and light is actually energy, and light energy. So basically, this light energy is pure consciousness, and when this energy touches matter, it can manifest. So these are two dimensions, like, uh, and the sound is like third dimension because the matter is first dimension because it's gravity and matter, so light is two dimensions because when you get light, then you can measure stuff into matter. For example, then you can calculate shit. And then there's
Calculate. Sorry.
yeah,
Calculate what?
calculate stuff. I was using a different term before. And the third was actually shown to me how it is. So basically, there's strands of I don't know what strands of how it is. There was a different word in the books. I'm gonna use, let's say, matter, strands of matter, like a rope, and
Yeah.
those strands, for example, are stretched. So these are two dimensions only. This is what you're perceiving. You're like perceiving length and width. That's what you see. But when there's a sound, then it's vibration. Sound is vibration. So basically, you put in vibration, energy, and matter into one, and you get our universe. And what sound does, it's like a big bang in a way. The sound is a big bang, I would say, because from nothing, from the point of one point, in perspective of, let's say, time, you get sound and the vibration, and it goes into existence. It goes with big bang, and it goes like spreads to everything that it can. So that's how time comes into space, like, then you can measure time. But when you're looking from a source perspective, from consciousness perspective, or just soul perspective, every point in that existence of space and time, you can actually like go in there and experience it. So so what how it was presented to me, it was like big strands, and a big dot in, let's say, in my third eye. So basically, this thing, like, it's like a not like a bubble, but you would feel like, I felt it like a bubble onto my forehead, and it like expanded, into being, in a way. So basically, this nothing, like a ball, and then formed into like other shapes, like actually 3D shape, like
Mm-hmm.
space. So that came into being, and then I understood how vibration and sound is important in our universe, to us even, actually. So that's why people chant mantras and everything else, like om sound and those sounds. Like, this is
Yeah.
voice vibration, and it actually does go with your brain vibration. You can tune in this into that vibration, and it's going to be the same. So this is also mind-blowing stuff that I found out. And I just know about it, but I have no idea how to use it for like
Well,
a
I can share
beneficial
to
way.
you a little additional.
Okay.
Uh, I don't know. I don't remember if I have shared this to you, but anyway, uh, maybe. Just when I started to do channeling, my question was, "How is the universe made?" Uh, and it was actually, I would say, exactly the same as you now described. Out of these three elements, and
Oh
but
yeah, I do remember that you were. Yeah, I do remember you were. No,
yeah, okay,
wait,
no,
my
but
English.
the idea,
But yeah, continue.
yeah, but still the
I'm
idea is
sorry.
that, like you said about the mantras, like it's imagine yourself consisting constantly of energy, also of this light energy and sound. It constantly exists from it, And whenever you change your light energy, which would be basically what we interpret as emotions, or you change your sound, like do some mantras, do some music, or start speaking, you create a vibration within you. Whenever you change one of these components, the third component also changes. And it's like like white color is made out of, I'm not sure about green, red, green, blue, and it's made of three components. And if you change one of those components, the light which you get output also changes. So and speaking about this perspective, another perspective which I was thinking quite lately is the perspective of mathematics. And actually computers are at a point where I understood how computers actually work. I was just amazed. I was amazed how simple it actually works. For example, imagine ourselves. We have this idea. Computers work out of zeros and ones. So basically, in terminologically, it's in technologically speaking, it's on and or off. It's a dot or it's nothing. But take a look at an atom, a small particle, and it consists of like floating around molecules or floating around these protons, whatever they are called. I'm not sure, electrons, protons. And imagine if we have like a plus and minus, or a 1 and 0, which would be basically an atom. And if it has a proton, then it's a positive. And if it hasn't have a proton, it's only an atom, like rotating around, or a negative proton. I'm not sure about the terminology, but imagine ourselves as mathematics about this stuff, that one atom has 5 of protons, 3 of those, and 4 of those. Then, for example, this a small atom is carrying information already as terms of computer information, and they're rotating around, like floating around. And when they are floating around or rotating out around the atom, they're creating a vibration faster. Or if they are rotating slower, maybe it's ice or something, they're rotating slower. And not also this, but also they are related to atoms which are around of them. So for example, everything that vibrates or rotates the same speed gets connected to the atoms around that also are on the same speed. Look at these things, you can actually imagine also that the universe is made out of sacred geometry or sacred mathematics also. So it's something like the Mendeleevs, which wrote the chemical, the chemical platform, all these I don't know, with the materials that exist, but if you think about it, there's a simple or a sacred mathematics underneath that you can actually point out and figure out. And this is something similar to what you were talking earlier about scientists and so on. And sometimes I'm thinking you just need to point in a new mathematics. You just need to input new mathematics to, for example, to us humans, for example, not like zeros and ones, but like a three-dimensional mathematics, like for example, this atom and proton and electron or whatever they have there. It's a three-dimensional mathematics that would have a completely different nature. Because I remember Linda, she was channeling aliens, or aliens that work with uh, human DNA or something. I don't remember, but whatever it was, they were bringing through completely different symbols, not like we have like letters, but symbols. And she started wrote them down like unimaginable symbols. So for example, if we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, but if we like understood like letters, like this letter is like represents this letter represents that in mathematical. So we have a much larger scale of mathematics that we can use. And for example, then we can also calculate or create like artificial intelligence, create like mathematics that understand the universe and so on. So I was like lately thinking about these stuffs also. I'm sorry if I spoke too complicated, but I think there was a question on the website which I would read. while you, Modestus, are trying to say something. At least I see your microphone on off.
I wanted to add a little about the mathematics of human mathematics. I would say in the past I was channeling some Yael, and one person asked, "Is mathematics human mathematics are correct?" So what they said was they are not complete. Like for us to actually do calculate, for example, the universe, it's not like it's not like wrong, but there are some aspects of the mathematics that we do have today that they are lack of something, like to grasp something, and it's not
Actually,
complete, something
yeah,
like it.
actually, I just remembered Enrico was telling one stuff about mathematics about division, dividing, and for example, you want to divide three by three, you get one, right? But he was telling, well, imagine you have three, for example, pencils, and you divide it by another three pencils. He said you get the exact three again, because you put each other over and you get also three again. So he was telling lots of more about this. I have to draw it to make sense, to make more sense about this. But in a way, you try to understood that actually you can use or bring in new concepts of calculation. And for me, how he showed me was, yeah, it's actually true. But then I was thinking, well, how can you use this, or what does it actually change? And Oscars is joining this call. Hello and good day, Oscars.
Good day.
Hey,
And he's silent. Oh no.
yeah, it's interesting, the different calculation system.
Okay. Here's a question from Aya. Her question is: I'm trying to look at the situation positively, but there is so much psy- psychical or mental difficulties that trying to accept the situation is really hard. So basically, what I understood from this question is that she's or a person is trying to accept life positively, but there are like mental difficulties inside that are causing to have trouble accepting life positively. So I would say too much of circumstances. For example, from my own personal experience, I'm not sure what was the channeling experience, because I think there were such questions. But the thing is, sometimes we are actually tired. We are actually lowered in a state of beingness, and when we are in this state, like a negative energy can attach to us more strongly, or can get more closer to us. For example, if we not have a decent sleep, we can be really affected by fears, and fears are affecting us more, like than the television is affecting us more, like Modestas in the beginning was still talking to us. But when you have peace, and when you have like a meditative state, and when you have like a good sleep you had, then you look at life, and you perceive this energy, like negative energy, in a more uplifted way, in a more positive way. So, for example, I would say it's mm, you don't have to try to accept the life in a positive way. You just have to have your own inner self, you would say, in a more positive state. Because sometimes when you are in a high positive state, for example, you had a good day with your friends and so on, and when you come back home, somebody's talking something negative, you just start to laugh. You're like, why you're actually thinking about this? Why do you even spend time talking about this? Why do you even spend time thinking about this for like past 3 days? Just let it go, and let it be. So, in simple words, recommendation would be just stop thinking about negative things and stop thinking about trying to be positive. Just have a good sleep, relax, chill, and then you will see that in time your own perspective gets more and more, let's say, positive. And you have another question, maybe Modestus, you would like to add something while I read in my mind in the next question.
Um, the basically what I think is whenever you actually try to make it a positive thing, you're actually blocking yourself also because you're trying to escape from what you have at this very moment, and you to be in a different place. But well, actually, you have to get like you have to be strong to take it in, and just be aware and observant of what's happening inside you. Well, you have to be well, for me, it's easy to say because I'm practicing one thing, which I'm trying to be as calm as possible in any given moment. So basically, whenever something like shitty happens to me, I'm like also like getting into state when I'm continuously calming myself, not to like lash out to those emotions. But to make it positive, I wouldn't say that you're going to make it positive, but whenever you just like calm yourself, try to breathe, try to feel the energy in your body, then you actually do understand that you're actually in this physical body, and you can't run away. When you get that, then you can go and delve into your emotions. And when you see your emotions without labeling how they are, without labeling stuff that's happening around you, how they are, like in your mind, when you calm your mind, then you go into the state of awareness and presence. And when you are there, then you feel really, really calm. And when you are there, well, that's the place where you need to be. And then you're gonna understand that the ideas that not the ideas but the idea of your life, what you how you are preserving it, it's not actually the way that you're preserving it, because there's a deeper thing beneath you, not beneath you but within you, which
I figure,
understands more and can you actually, yeah.
yeah,
But what you said, Mattis, I actually uh remember about one thing that I wrote down, which is like could also fill what you said. Um, yeah, I think I found it. So basically, I need to read it because I think it might help. Yeah. So basically, the idea is you have to give support to yourself in any given situation. For example, when you're feeling negative, when you're feeling down, and you need like energy to do stuff, you have to give yourself support. You have to be
yeah.
the person that goes in and says, everything's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be just great, just wait. You need to be that person for yourself, because then you're starting to heal yourself in a way. And what I wrote down is that whenever I trying to be a supporter for a person or for myself, then I feel really loving energy inside me. And
Hmm.
whenever I give this support, to somebody or myself, whenever I need it, this support that I gave, it's gonna go back. And with this support, the love is gonna go back too. So you just have to give out to give in. So this is like a karmic law, of exchange, like
Uh,
cause and effect.
I just remembered another method, or one
Oh,
one more method.
do share.
Uh, it's a simple method. It's just remembering yourself, whatever you had, a uplifted state of beingness, or let's say higher energy.
Oh yeah,
So
that's great.
this is an easy method. So whatever you are conscious that you like record in yourself how you felt in a positive state, and you think like, I want to remember this state. This was a good feeling. It was a good place. And whenever you are in a bad mood or whenever you are in difficulties, just remember the emotion or the feeling you recorded. And I remember when I was earlier in my life, I just recorded and always remembered one beautiful state which I always loved. Like imagine a place where you truly would want to be right now and truly want to be right now. And I imagined like next to a lake, just sun shining, and just enjoying the beautiful place, the beautiful weather, and the absolute peace what's there. And whenever I'm in a difficult situation, I just remember or revisualize how I felt there, how I am there, and it was a really like you get back to your natural state, you get back to your positive state using this method really easy. Uh, and but I had another question, which I think basically we also answered that when we are like a sponge in a crowd and just soaking up all those negative energies right there, it's not like we are soaking up all the negative energies that are there. We are just having ourselves a negative reaction to those energies that are around. So basically, again, as we can revisualize the what we were talking a little bit earlier, everything is made out of three particles. Everything is made out of not like particles, elements. Everything is made out also about the white light is made out of red, green, and blue. Maybe there are more spectrums to it, but well, for example, that's the easiest way to describe this. So you are also one of that particle in that crowd. So basically, crowd is one particle, you are another particle, and maybe how you feel is another particle. So basically, just change yourself, or change your attitude, or change your circumstances, and everything what you experience will change, because you are shining in a different color, and mixed together with the surrounding colors, you are a completely different color together. But in normal terms speaking, I think the most easiest way would be to describe that if you are in a negative state, or you are in a lowered energy state, everything may seem much lower and that's around. So I would just suggest that be more uplifted, be more natural, be more freer for yourself. Uh, while Modestas
Or
was
just
yeah,
there's another like a good thing just to go into a forest and have a nice hike. Sometimes it's enough.
yeah. I was reading my
Sense energies herself that they are bad ones, then she can change the perception and try to emit the energies on them. Like try to see the things that you want to see in them, not like the information you have on them surrounded by.
Yeah. That also works.
I think that could be one of the things that could also work. Yeah.
And that actually could say a lot of about the person itself.
Yeah, if you watch the thoughts.
Yeah. It's like a self healing. Actually, you can use it in terms of self healing or self realization about the certain problem, which is your energy. Yeah, I had those experiences too.
Cool. What, Matis? You were saying something.
well, while are we
Sorry,
talking
I
right
interrupted.
here, I found a website where you can input your data and get uh, this numerological reading. And I'm reading about myself and I'm laughing. Well, I would say everything is correct. I am a number 5 because I feel the number 5. And I know what number 5 means. And I'm just reading this. What do we have here? My life is meant for learning meditation and sharing it to others. I'm a public speaker, which, okay. No,
Interesting.
you can go on. I will come to a conclusion right here.
I actually the day before the first webinar that we had last week, I was also reading about numerology, and I found this website, and I'm gonna put this on the Hangout. Yeah, it's quite interesting too. Like it's in more precise ways how you can do this, but I don't know. I also understood that my number is 5 too, but I don't know. It's just interesting. That's it.
It's like your life path numbers, or
I
just
don't know.
I'm only just laughing.
I don't really remember, but there's life path and something else. because you can use your name, you can use your
Yeah,
birth
the
year. Yeah,
different kinds.
yeah, and there's like an answers like quite. I don't know the word in English, so I can't finish the sentence. But yeah.
Interesting. I also read that numerology things about me, and I calculated. I think it counts as 11, and it's a strange number as I read about it.
They say that it's a master number, so it should mean something different. But since I'm five, I didn't read the other stuff. I was
You're
interested about myself.
you're a number 5, Modestus.
Yeah.
You're a freedom-loving person.
Oh, that's actually true.
Uh, you want to live without borders.
That's also true.
You have like many aspects of finding adventures. Like I don't know how it would be more precise in English. You let's hear what's right, and don't tell me this the conclusion of it. You love changes and is enthusiastic uh, as long as you have a strong desire to do so. Progressive thinking helps you to find answers on many questions. You're communicable. You have the uh, gift of motivating people. It gives you I don't know. So it says it gives you the ability also to be as a politician. I don't know how it call juristum. I don't know in English how it's, and also a trader or a salesperson. It doesn't relate to like shop attendant or something. You don't like routine and boring job.
There
Okay.
are things in there that are correct. That I
For
do
example.
resonate with.
And here it said that you are looking for a job which be more creative and in a way also in simple words exciting other than being in a routine work. Oh, Elvis has joined. Hello, Elvis. Elvis,
Hi. Hi, everybody.
how is your life?
Well, I was listening all your conversations so long, and well, my life is good. I was like, I can add about playing roles. I was on job interview, and I was playing role to be a good vacancy for the job application for in my work field.
Yeah, in which field was that?
It's in finances in
Okay, okay.
well
So
in finances in bank system.
so you were pretending that you are not related in communication with beings. You are not related.
I didn't bring
Just
that
an
topic
insider.
on. I just
You're trying to be serious.
I was trying really be serious when they said that everybody's playing the role. Like in that situation, you need to play a role. You're really good, like really good and really well. Your background is so strong in everywhere, and you're so good candidate for everything. And but honestly, like who you are, right? You're just a normal person who wants a job, but you need to like trick other person to work like in other ways.
Well, uh, I was one time I want to share. Uh, I wanted to go to a job. I was like, I want to join work somewhere. I decided I want to a program writer, like a working programming company. I went and they called me and I went to a job interview and she was asking me like several questions about programming, but I knew what she was talking about. There was a lady, and then she asked me, "Where did you learn to do programming?" And I said, "From meditation." And she was with big eyes. And what kind of meditation? I just know. I just started to meditate, and I said to myself, I want to learn programming, and all of a sudden I learned programming. And she had the big eyes, like, how is that possible? And she asked another couple of questions why do you want to work here? And I said, well, actually, I don't want to work. And she said, why? And I started describing the working there. And she said, "How do you know this?" I just said, I just feel this." And they just started, and she was like, "No, no, no, no." I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah," because what I stood from her is that she's who works in a company that motivates personnel, like tells them everything is good, everything is fine. Yeah, we need to have more like soliding and have more closer relationship with everybody in the office and so on. Anyway, uh, I didn't get the job there, so but I'm happy
Well,
about
I received call that I received my job, so I was playing really good role. But one other interesting part of it was today that I find out that my colleague will be also like named Elvis, and I was wondering, oh, interesting. Well, another Elvis. I have never worked with other Elvis,
it.
and and then in the morning I was like asking my godmother to send the picture of my grandmother because I'm cleaning my family tree by father's side.
Mhm.
I'm just like, and she just refused to send a picture because I need to finish my family tree and I just missing one picture. And I went to the job, and I was googling this Elvis, and
Yeah,
this Elvis surname was the surname which I changed 7 years ago, which was my father's surname. Now I have my from grandfather's side,
yeah.
and it was like, wow, he has the same surname I had like 7 years ago. And then I just calmed down. I said, wow, I understood. It's surname by my father's side. So it's enough to cleaning like family tree. I done it. So I wrote and after the godmother that I don't need this picture, that everything is done here. So I don't need to continue to clean this family tree. And it was
Enough cleaning.
and now it's amazing. And now I know where I get this job. And this job is just to show these symbols that like there is working Elvis, other Elvis with the same surname I had like 7 years ago. Like I don't know, it's everything is connected. Like there's a lot of symbols. Like Modest said, like he's like like everything is like connected. Like you receive so many things from reality. Yeah.
Had an interesting day.
Yeah, it was
Let's,
really. Yeah.
okay, I will read a couple of questions. One is from Edgar's question to me. Have I had lately a contact with Pleiadians? And I have to say that I think till December or till end of December, I'm actually really, really busy, and I have put aside all these channeling stuff. So it's a busy time for me. Uh, so the answer is no. I have not channeled them for a long period of time. Actually, I have not channeled actually for a longer period of time, except the channeling lessons, uh, which I'm sharing. So another question is, you can go on to speak. I will try to find a question mark in this sentence. Okay, I will read the questions. Okay, I do meditations really because sometimes it can be too overwhelming, and the information or changes you receive while meditating, you can receive them in other ways. For example, your angels, for example, because they are closely working with you. And here is a topic which I want to share is what and who and how understands what is meditation, because sometimes we understand that meditation is something we need to do. sometimes people think that meditation is like something that I have to do, like a yoga, I have to chant mantras and so on. There are many understandings about meditation, but how I would say, talking about what is meditation, uh, what is the basis or what is the true essence of meditation, is just sitting and peacefully breathing, not focusing your mind on questions, not focusing your mind on answers, not focusing your mind on anything, not even focusing your mind on energy stuff, just peacefully being with yourself and breathing and just enjoying the things that are happening right now. So never, when somebody is saying that he's being overwhelming in meditation with energies, I would say it's not possible. I would say then he's doing some kind of specific meditation when they're trying to achieve something or trying to do something. But in a meditative state, it's not even possible to be overwhelmed with something. Meditation is just peace for yourself. Anything that you can be overwhelmed with is absolute peace and absolute quietness within you that can unfold beautifully in the moments of your life. So, but yeah, so a different thing is when we do channeling lessons, we do channeling meditations, which basically are like doses of energy that we send through. Overwhelming. And what else is here? Elvis, Carlos, Modestas, Oscars, a wolf. We have a wolf here in the room. Okay, so that's what I wanted to share about meditation. I'm not alone. To me, it's visible that there are like nearly 7 people in the room and some 20 are watching. So we're nearly 30 here. I will have a drink. Water. I remember one thing about that is trying to talk about life and what life is, and actually, what we can say is, many people say that, or I don't know if many people say, I've heard this, that we need to go back to the light, and we have to escape the karma, we have to escape the cycle of being reborn, and so on. But in other sense, we came down from light here to have this beautiful and amazing co-experiences that we all have here. And what should you have again, what we were talking at the beginning, a negative perspective of life, a negative, or a sense, a dense way of life, because life is just about enjoying it. It's like a beautiful playground, and whenever you feel like going back to the light, then you say to yourself, yeah, I'm ready to go back. I did my stuff here. I did what I wanted to do here. I don't feel like staying here. I don't feel like, yeah, maybe I want to do this, maybe I want to do that. But you're like, okay, it's okay. I want to go back. I feel like going back. So then you are going back. We have 2 Oscars right now in the room.
Yeah, let's go now. Somehow it's happening, yeah. Actually, my phone died and therefore it's there.
You're maybe the second person who said this to me today, that my phone died. Let's see, questions on the website. Okay, anger. Edgar's is asking, can I talk about anger and or what is it? Anger is actually, sometimes I'm talking about anger, sometimes I see a relation That's my parrot in the background. Sometimes I see relationship in the genetical part. Yeah. Sometimes I see like there are cells in our body that get like, in a sense, itching and cause us to feel this anger more and cause us to be more angrier in our lifetimes. Also, when I talk about anger, when I think about anger, sometimes I see or sometimes I feel that uh, people get angry because they create um, vision. What do they want? Like, I want to be at 3 o'clock at home, and they put in this energy that I need to be at home, for example, or I need to be at workplace, or I must be there. And what's happening then is that if they fail or they start to fail, they're feeling that I'm not achieving my goal. I'm not achieving my yeah, it's an English goal, which I pointed out. And they started getting a little more angrier, a little more angrier, a little more angrier. So, but and sometimes anger, when we have this experience, when we have this anger, uh, even this anger energy actually slows down our experience. It actually, for example, we need to get at 3 o'clock at work, for example. And okay, I need to get there. I need to get there, and we run outside, and we, for example, step into puddle, and we close the door, and we start driving, and we hit the some kind of post, or maybe scratch another car, and we get more angrier, and then we try to accelerate and get there faster, and we nearly do a crash and stuff, and then we realize we were trying to get there as fast as we can, but there are these traffic jams and so on, and you get more angrier. And sometimes I tell this to many people that, well, not to many people, but I have said it many times, that look at these experiences. You're being constantly angry, angry, and angry, and you get more and more anger back. You get more anger back to yourself. And sometimes I say that this is how life is trying to reflect back to you anger, even with more anger. And then you can realize that universe is trying to tell you something, that this is an energy that is out of alignment with you, and this is something out of alignment. You're trying to hurry, 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 get rid of this. Because sometimes when you are in a peaceful state, you can get anywhere, everywhere, exactly as peacefully as you can be. So this is an anger from another perspective. And but anger from a good perspective, like many people are having so much doubts. Many people are having so much sitting at home and not doing anything, and just years and years of just, I don't achieve anything in my life, I don't have anything in my life. And then you must get angry. You must sit at home and you must get angry about everything, completely everything. And when you get angry, then you're okay. Now I'm fed up with this life that I'm having here. Now I will go and change everything in my life. I will go, sit up, and do and make changes. And this is how you can use anger in a positive way to, like, in a sense, use it as energy that lifts you up, puts you back on track, and use this energy of anger to like achieve your goals. Also, anger can change fears. When you have fears, so much fears, get angry, because I think anger is something that's more easier to get rid of than fears. It depends actually from a person. When you're fearful, when you are afraid of many things, get angry to those persons who gave you these fears. And when you are angry, you just release those fears together with anger, and you just release it, kicks you up and takes you away. And what else? Actually, there's only questions about anger and my perspective, so nothing detailed. So I'll skip the detailed part. Meanwhile, where you're quietly there, you can speak, and I will try to read who am I in terms of numerology.
Mattis, I didn't know you're so interested in numerology.
Well,
Like
I'm not interested,
you're
but so interested. But as mathematics, as numbers,
oh,
we are surrounded by them.
that's true.
Yeah, so uh, while we were talking, Linda sent me a site where you can input your numbers and they give you some kind of a reading. And I thought, well, maybe I should try. And then I was reading, but uh, I have heard somewhere that there are only 12 personalities that exist, mainstream personalities. One is a joyful person who enjoys life. One is a mathematical person who calculates life. One is a family type of a person. One is addicted to work person. So there are nearly only 12 persons. So if they can somehow calculate by numbers which number you are, then it's really close. It's like a 8 to 10% chance that you get exact readings or close readings to you. So I don't actually think that in mainstream numerologically there is some kind of a cosmical relation, not like a cosmical relationship, but like a exact uh, whatever. It's like when talking about mainstream, everything is correct, but when you talk about details, I think you need to be some kind of psyche to read that information from the numbers.
Hello.
Hello.
This kind of remembered me about a joke that I actually told you, Matis, but I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe other people haven't heard this. I've heard this joke from Muji, the spiritual teacher. So it goes like this. Um, I'm gonna change it in my own perspective. So person was hiking and the person fell from the let's say cliff
Yeah.
accidentally. And while falling, the person grabbed on the branch, on the root of the tree, and he started to shout, help me, I'm in trouble." And there's nothing, only silence. He's still shouting, "Help me, someone, please help me." Nothing. And then he's like, "Anyone, please help." And the voice, he hears a voice, "Yes." And he goes like, "Oh, thank God, you came. Can you tell me who you are and help me?" And the voice says, "I am God." The person is like, "Oh, fuck yes, this is amazing. God, please help me from this situation." And God says, "Let go." The person goes like, "What? What do you mean, let go? I'm gonna die." God says, "Yeah, let go." The person is like,
It's about time.
"Yeah." The person is like, "I'm not gonna let go. I don't need this." And he's like shouting again, "Anyone, please help me." Yes.
Accept the God.
The voice says yes, and the person says, "Is this God? Is this you?" The voice says yes. The person says, "Is there anybody else?" So listen to the voice and let go.
There's another question from Eternal Amnesia, which is, by the way, an interesting name.
Really cool name. I
Yeah.
expect a lot of it.
Uh, if someone decides that they're ready to turn to the light, how it's done by suicide. So if somebody decides that he's ready to go to the light, and I will point out decides, then that somebody is actually really far away from the light, and he will just commit a suicide, and they will regret, oh, what I have done, too bad, I was so wrong in my perspectives or in my emotional states. But if somebody is ready to go to the light, he will go to the light when he's ready, when it's about time. But sometimes that we die, we don't actually go to the light. We go to a place of light where it's a spiritual place where we meet all our personalities that we have met in these lifetimes. For example, your relatives, your friends, and so on, and we have a chat and R&R, how people say. So we don't actually go to the light. We go to a different realm where we like enjoy that what beautiful experiences we have together. So we're still having an experiential realm that we experience. But when we talk about light, when we talk about going to the light, sometimes not see, but how I understand this question is that we go back to the source. And the source is something that it's not even possible to describe. It's even not possible in exact ways to describe how do you feel there. But it's a place where all your personality disrupts. It's when you are telling, I'm thinking I'm ready to go to the light, or a person is thinking about this, he's using so much mind, he's thinking about such unnecessary things, he's just putting a huge resistance in his mind. So what he's doing, he's just making noise in himself, and all noises are not true. It's not like they speaking at that point. Your true self is not speaking at that point. So but when we are in this source, this light, this place where we all came as souls, there is no personality, there is no I am, there's no I am, there's no I must do something. It's just a complete of this bliss, this uplifted, this high state. There's a huge bliss of it. So you are not even thinking about anything. You're not even willing anything. You're just being this. You cannot feel this anywhere in this lifetime when you are here. But when you are getting more and more closer to going back to the light, you start being more of that nature, being more of allowing the bliss to be through you. You're not trying to do something to escape something. You're not trying to be something more to be something more. You're not trying to find the answers. You're not trying to have the questions. You're just allowing everything what's around just to be. Because when you allow everything just to be, you're starting to feel little glimpses of that source energy within you. You're starting to feel little step by step this source energy within you, this your true state's energy within you. And then you realize that there are no circumstances in this situation. There is not like this situation is good or bad, or this I must avoid this or must have this. You're just allowing it to be. And by allowing the life to be, you allow your true self to shine through you more and more and more. So I think that answered the question of doing suicide. So basically, to get back into light, the thing what you need to do is stop doing anything, stop doing completely anything. Just be life, because the life is part of you. Okay, somebody is asking, how can you release fear and nervousness? So I'm looking at the person's picture. I would say is to that person, are you having fear and nervousness? Because if you are, and the nervousness of that somebody is in the room, or somebody is next to you, or somebody is watching you, and I would say, if he would say yes, then I would say, have like do you have a grandmother or something that has passed away? And I would say that fearing of nervousness when you feel like somebody is in the room or watching you is a fear of, it's not a fear of, it's because somebody is there in the room and is willing to talk to you. And we are having fear and nervousness for, basically we are at the beginning having fear because we are having new experiences. We don't understand what's going on, and we have this fear because we have read or we had information about something being bad, something being evil, something we must avoid, and something that can do harm to us. But when we And if we don't have any of this junk within ourselves, we have this allowance. We have this allowance for the fear to come to us. But if we have this junk within ourselves, then we are nervousness. We're getting these panickings, this nervousness within ourselves because we try to avoid the fear because something is going on. I mean, we can tend to have this panics and nervousness within ourselves. So at this point, I will just suggest to you again, understand how I have said many times, when we are relaxed, when we don't have this junk within ourselves, and also the junk of doing suicide and junk of doing something, we allow us to be. We allow us to be, and then we allow our fears to happen, and then we realize that, hey, so many junk, much junk. It was just a beautiful, nice experience that was behind that fears that was blocking me. I was actually blocking fears myself, no, like whatever the person who was asking. But then you realize that I was blocking and a new and exciting experience to me. So that's a way how you release nervousness. Okay, can I share the numerological website? I wrote it into comments on my website under the seminar section. This seminar. It was it's in Latvian, so basically I don't see the point of sharing this website by voice. But I posted on comments. You can just click there, and I will refresh the website. Maybe there are other questions. Okay, cancel. Talking about free will law, there isn't a free will law. But if you look at computers, there's everything is beautifully said. I want to refresh the page, and he's asking, "Are you sure you want to refresh the page?" Yes, I'm sure. Law that I'm ready to refresh my page. And this is the same when talking about experience we have in our life. Sometimes we say we don't want to have this experience, but when we do realize that mind that makes the decisions, it's our feelings, it's our energy, what we are talking all night here, that cause us to make all uh, decisions, automatic decisions in our lives. So whenever whenever we are doing constantly and over again these things in our life, then all you need to do is, like we and Modestas were talking about, the three main elements, like the light. You just need to change sound or energy, and it will change the outcome of your life.
Can I add to this too?
Yeah, sure.
Also, the thought. Thought is very important. When you change your thought patterns, well, actually, when you do change your thought patterns, your thought might go into being your reality.
Yes.
So there was a question about fear also, and my perspective on that would be for letting go the fear, like actually to check if the fear is not thought. For example, if you're in a situation, let's say you're in a fighting, you're gonna fight with someone, it's natural to feel fear because you can get beat up. But when you're just, let's say, sitting in your room and you're feeling fear, well, that's 100% that it might be your thought. So, well, and the idea about thought, it's not real. It's not your reality. The thought is just only a fucking bubble around your head. So when you do go into fear, you're empowering that thought, which is not real. So
I would love to create a picture of you and like a spiritual quote underneath. A thought is a food bubble.
yeah, Matt, did you actually hear the recording that I sent you this week? The last one, I would say,
Oh, no,
because
no,
I
no.
was also speaking about thought
Yeah, you
in
can
that
share it,
one.
but I haven't yet.
Well, I don't remember because the recording is on my phone or on your phone. Just in that moment, I recorded it and sent it to you.
Well, I will.
Well, it's a
Listen.
question. I see
Yeah.
some questions on YouTube. So, is death like a sleep paralysis, except with no body to return to?
You're looking
Um,
at the YouTube site. Okay, I will check it
yeah.
also.
So, yeah, that's kind of interesting. Sounds kind of interesting because the body. How do you return to the body when you die? When you die, you return to your source consciousness. This body that you have here, this body only can die. But when you do return to the source consciousness, you cannot die because it's the same universe that you're living in here, but in a higher state of existence, in a different dimension, we could say. So basically, this physical body does die, but when you go to the light, let's say, there's nothing to be afraid of that, because in that place of existence, death is not existent.
I would say also, I would like to add that at the source place, or you get closer to the source, you don't have even that junk of even thinking about what is death. You are so much enjoying your life. You're so much enjoying this moment. So, for example, imagine also when you are joking, when you are having a beautiful time with your friends, you're not thinking about stuff like, hey, what is death, what I'm dying, and so on. You're not thinking about how I'm supposed to pay our taxes and stuff like this, or about illnesses. You're just enjoying this moment, what's happening, enjoying. So in a sense, in light, death does not exist, but also you don't waste your time about thinking about such no nonsense, because you're truly allowing to enjoy this lifetime, what's happening right now, this experience, what's going on right now. Yeah, that's what I wanted to share.
Well, actually, when you do tap into your experience right now in this moment, then you can actually do be one with the source.
Yeah.
Because, well, in any given moment, we are in one with the source. Because, well, this consciousness is experiencing itself through many selves. So basically, you're the part of same thought, I would say. So if you do want to feel better about yourself, or any I don't know, any situation you want to be more, let's say, enlightened, just go into now and just be present and just, don't think. And then you can get closer to what is, and it's amazing.
Yes. And it's
Same like
something to do also with the channeling.
same like channeling. With channeling is like there is intention in channeling, because you want to make a connection. But when you are just present, there's no intention whatsoever. So that's what the difference is. Because when you're in channel, for example, pre-channeling state, you're like getting your body worked up, for the communication. You're getting aligning your energies, and then you do make a connection. So there is intention to it. And then, for example, if the being is from a higher state of existence, it will manifest a little bit in your energy form, and it will, in a way, guide you through that communication. So if you're quite present in that channeling state, it's going to go well. But if not, it's going to be a complication. Yeah, so there's the difference. But it's quite the same, actually.
It's
Actually, the
a
same but different. It's the same but different.
I I didn't know that YouTube has a live chat. It's amazing. There are many people that chat here.
Yeah, yeah. I just checked it recently.
I will just try it. Ooh la la caramba. Let's see what happens. Nothing happens. At the end. Okay. Okay, yeah, I will read the latest question, which I think Modestas already. I'm a king. I have a crown and a Golden Mountain.
Owner. Yeah.
uh, I do not remember myself being dead, although I remember one experience which I had this near death like experience, which was crazy. I was driving from a city far away, like 200 or 300 kilometers home, and at the middle of the road I got sick. I all of a sudden started to feel a big pain in my throat. And when I got home, I already had this angine. I don't know. It's like a throat disease. It's you need to drink antibiotics to get rid of it. It's like when you get cold in throat. And at the morning, I had a temperature of 40 degrees at Celsius. I was so sweaty. I was so bad at that point. And I just lay down on my bed. I couldn't. Head was so dizzy. I couldn't even move. And I just lay down. I had no strength. I just lay down at the chair. And I started in myself. I started to laugh. I was so excited. I was so funny. I was started to laugh. And then I lifting up, and when I lift up, I look. Hey, I'm outside of my body, and I started to laugh even more. I was looking at myself. Who is this guy? He's so ill. He's so sick. He hasn't even the strength to lift his body up. And I started to laugh. I was like making fun of that and just observing his lowered state of like weakness. And then I realized, hey, that's my body. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I have heard it at that point. That was like maybe 8 years ago. And at that point, I was like, hey, but this is serious. I can die. And then okay, I need to get back. And then I laid back in my body and I tried to get back again. And then I managed to get up and I started to move to like get my blood circulating. And it got a little better. Then I instantly went to a doctor and he said, man, you're really bad. Your shape is really bad. And of course, pills and so on. But I got back to it. But that is not like a sleep paralysis. It's maybe when you are in a coma or something, it can be like it. But I don't think you when your body is connected, I don't think you experience sometimes anything. Sleep paralysis maybe when somebody is actually pointing your or trying to affect your physical energy body, and then you can feel this sleep paralysis that all of a sudden you're consciously but you're not connected energetically with your body. Then you can feel this sleep paralysis. But pure death is like knocks you out of the body, and then you're just gazing and looking at around your stuff. And sometimes you can get like body is half alive half dead, like you get like visions and pure visions like it. But um, I think you're instantly knocked out of the body. You experience what everything is happening around you, and then you have these guides, assistants, like your close relative assistants. Maybe they come and pick you up. Maybe they help you to do stuff that you need to do in your lifetimes uh, while this process is going on. But it depends from person to person what happens. Of course, I can share examples of which I have communicated or which Linda has communicated, but in mainstream it differs and it's different a little bit from person to person. Point where why are you here? What's your experience here in your lifetime? So, and I forgot. I forgot what I wanted to tell. But anyways, it's getting we're getting close to the end of this webinar. So if there's something which you want to talk about, you can please ask right. Or maybe Elvis, maybe Carlos has something to share. Maybe you want to share something and share it in your chat or ask it in the chat.
Anyone?
Anyone else?
Yeah. You know what? I actually did have some how it's called, sleep paralysis in the past when I was just new with the channeling. So it's quite interesting ideas. But what I found out, yeah, it's usually most of the times when sleep paralysis occurs for you, it's probably some other lower dimensional entity trying to suck on your energy because it is the form of its food source. It's easy to avoid it. So one of them would be when it does appear, just to relax, because every time when you're in this state of sleep paralysis, you, for example, from my experiences, when I would wake up, there would be someone in my room, like someone familiar but not of that sort, which would be in my mind, for example, a grandmother, but it's not a grandmother because it's a black being, so it doesn't make any sense, but the being is placed for you to feel fearful, to feel fear emotion in yourself. That's when they feed on themselves. So whenever this occurs and you see something terrifying, just try to relax, try to go back into your body, to try to feel your fingers, your toes, and just calm yourself, just like, "But this is just happening, this is just happening, and I need to go back into my body." And then you wake up. It's not a pleasant experience, and I'm not suggesting anyone to experience it, but it can happen, yes. And it's usually when your energy bodies feel filled with fear.
I had many of these experiences, and they are really exciting experiences. Uh, uh, so sometimes when you woke up from them, you're like, man, this life is so crazy.
Yeah. Someone is asking about self-healing. Well, have anyone got something to share on it?
I want to share. Also, it has to relate when I started to do channeling. It was highly intense for me. I would say really intense. And at that point, what happened for me, I also had again this uh, nose problem, this throat problem, I would say. It's common for me, and it was related with ears at that point, at that moment, and I just said, "Is there a being, or is there something, or just for the universe?" I asked, "Can you help me?" And all of a sudden, through the top of the head, I felt a massive energy, like a warm, like a warm feeling energy, and all of a sudden, I just felt like heat coming throughout my ears, and everything was gone completely, instantly. Everything was gone. So, in terms I would say also that everything, when we are in a state of aliveness or state of higher energy state, those beings or those angels that we call hear us, feel us, know us, can help us, but we are like constantly thinking about something else. We're constantly blocking, and also it blocks the energy flow. So, for example, there is no higher energy that can flow through you if you're choosing to be in a different state. Now I remember, which I wanted to share. Another topic was there is a knowledge about Ayurveda. It's something like a Bible, but in India or something. Or something like Chinese had this Chinese traditional medicine, and this Ayurveda is talking about the one thing which I liked. I was in yoga, and the yoga teacher was just sharing Ayurveda ideas, and he was telling that well, basically, what we can have here in our nature is in our planet is that everything is in harmony with everything. What it means is that life is harmony with life. So, for example, when there is winter, trees accept winter, leaves fall down, animals go to sleep or whatever they do in winter, flowers go back in the ground, and then in the next summer they grow up, blossom again. Everything is in harmony. But there is one creature that is not harmony any state, and that's human. He's constantly not feeling happy about this moment. He's constantly wanting to change something. For example, I feel cold. I need to warm my house. And then the human builds a huge factory that warms the house. It's not good. I need to eat. It's not this. It's not that. I need to have more money. I need to do something more. And he's constantly not in harmony with himself. And what the teacher was talking about Ayurveda, which I'm not familiar with, but the idea was familiar that organ in our body is also in harmony with us, and every organ represents a different state of beingness, a different state of who I am, a different state of energy inside of myself. When we are not in harmony with ourselves in a state, for example, we're constantly running, trying to do something, or we are constantly fearing, or we are constantly out of harmony with this moment in our life, like being out of the meditative state. And then these organs can have failures, and these organs can have illness that will try to tell you something that uh, not that you need to use medicine, not that you need to use something to heal yourself, but you need to change something in your energy. You need to change something that's not harmonious with you. For example, you're constantly working, you're constantly doing something, and your heart starts failing, and your and everything legs, or for example, then the body is, hey, stop doing this. You have spent all my energy. Try to relax, because my organ also need to relax. So, and also in Ayurveda, I heard about this idea, and I think it's a really nice idea actually. If you, for example, if somebody has studied this, I think there are good ideas that you can use in your life from that point of perspective of Ayurveda. Okay, so divine existence is telling us these are great. Hopefully, you will do more of these in the future. Which I suggest that these are the webinars, and we will do these in the future. By now, we are planning to do this every Friday, which I'm not sure is Friday or this time is useful to the world, but for me, it's a really nice time here. So. If somebody has suggestions to change the timing, so we can see. Aya Baka says thanks. There is actually there are two interesting names in the chat. One is divine existence, and the other is eternal amnesia. Divine eternal amnesia in existence, or divine amnesia existence, or divine eternal existence,
Both sound great.
or eternal amnesia existence in existence, or divine eternal amnesia in existence. So in combination.
Amnesia haste. Just a joke. But about self-healing is interesting thing, self-healing, because well, I am usually doing this, well, every day, trying to do this in energy form, because everything that we do live through, and every traumatic thing that we encounter, we put it into our hard drive, which is our body, and there is energy in this body. So whenever the energy flows, body picks it up on it. So it might go into pain in certain areas. But for self-healing, I recommend breathing, feeling your own body, and just staying present.
I remember one thing is a simple thing which I come across, that sick people try to talk about healing. Their state of beingness is constantly thinking about sickness, illnesses. So you're again in a state of feeling this, the thinking about sickness. So if you want to get healed, because people who are mm, well healed and wealthy and so on, they don't even think about illness. They don't thinking about how I need to get ill. I need to get in illness state. So I was just thinking about that. First things first, you just need to change your state of beingness, because whatever we are searching for, we can find it, and whatever we are searching for is the thing that we experience. So basically, I think just a recommendation at the first is stop pointing too much uh, of your energy to the thought I'm sick and I need to get better. Stop pointing your energy too much to it. Many times I recommend, or many times I do myself, that I'll understand the universe or the God or your angels are giving you the best possible experience at this moment that you may have and you are having, and trust them that they are giving you uh, the best or the most necessary experience for you to grow as a soul, as a person, and it's the absolute best and harmonious way for you. So throw everything away, and just what you can do is ask the angels, the universe, and you say, okay, I accept this to be something that you are pointing me out, something that you want to tell me, something that you want to show me, but I'm not understanding this. Can you please show me the way? Can you please make it to me more understandable so that I can understand? Because I'm tired of this. I want changes in my life. Can you please show me the direction, show me the path? So I would say this is the one of these things that can be useful for you. But there's like differences, and although I'm not a healer and I have several problems myself, so I would not recommend even to listening to me about sake of healing. But there are also differences about one is feeling sick, one is being sick, and something sick is more related to body dysfunction, something of body dysfunction. And many times there are like little things that we can change in our life that can completely change our physical body. That is, for example, there are heart illnesses, heart diseases, like and for example, we can just take different these things what we eat and drink. We can just make a small change, like don't drink water from the dishes, from the city water pipelines, or change the way we sit, or change the way we do stuff. Those little small changes can change your life completely in big matters.
I have one story I want to share with you about
Yeah,
self-healing.
sure.
Yeah, it's happened in my family. My grandmother, she's 75 years old, and she went to doctor like every year, and the doctor sent her to sonography, and they found in the stomach like a black spot, like there's something like around it. And she went back home. She's showing to us that, oh my God, there probably is a tumor. In her age, it's normal, and so on. And she was really worried about it. But what she was doing, she had like, she's really religious person. Well, not thickly religious, but she believes in God really, like. And she said me she was starting making conversation with a God, and she was like praying a lot to let this what's this spot go away, because she's scared it's like it will destroy her life. She doesn't want to be on a bed and take medicines, and she was sending this like connection with a God and with energy, whatever.
Yeah,
And after 2 months, she went to magnetic resonance, and it's really expensive. It costs like 150 euros, and she was
yeah,
in a line for that. And the lady said that one guy before her didn't appear, so for her it's for free, because well, the guy was waiting 1 year, but he didn't appear. For her, it's for free, and she was really happy it's for free. And they made this resonance, and they said, well, it's weird why she's here, because there's nothing. It's just like nothing. And she's like, yeah, I know. It's just, she has this feeling that it's left her body. And well, she said it's like just disappeared because she was like, just
Yeah, because she asked God to remove it, and everything
Yeah.
is removed.
Yeah, it was simple as that, because I saw that picture before. It's like her stomach and something black there. And well, yeah, it was the first time in my life, it's really in family, that something this is possible if you really believe that it can be removed. Like, if you really want to be healed, like, you concentrate all your energy in that and believing
Yeah.
higher energy which can help you. And yeah, and she was, well, kind of healed. It was self-healing. She didn't went to other, like, persons who can heal her.
Yes, yes, I've heard this such a similar story also in my friend's field. One woman was telling to me that she had, or her son had also some kind of a sonography, which had also something in the brain, and doc is like 100% sure that it's something really bad, and so on and so on. But in terms of bad or good, it's just a perspective what we are talking about this day. But she went home and she like took this picture and visualized that it's completely gone, and the doctors were really seriously looking to it, and they after 2 months or month or later they took another picture and they said, well, everything is completely gone, and they don't believe this, and what happened, and she said, well, she know what happened, and and but yeah, so it's just an example that people actually can change, or not change, but can do a lot of more by allowing or praying, or doing stuff with their energies, that they make changes. It's not like
And it
you're solid.
disappeared it's like in the brain.
Yeah, but it was like 8 years ago or so, 7,
Mhm.
6, 5. I don't remember, but it was, and she told this experience, but I don't think it's. I think it was personal for her. So I'm sorry that I talked about this, but maybe uh, no, maybe it's like.
Okay.
But I think we should end at least broadcasting today, because we're talking like 2 hours and more, and I'm feeling really sleepy. It's like nearly midnight now. So we will stop the transmission.
Do you want to share something about time before stopping the translation, or should we leave this for another topic?
Another topic next time. Topics, we'll have these topics more and more and more and more. But
Yeah,
also
everyone
we will
join
have
us.
yeah, we will also have these online channeling webinars, I believe. So, and actually on one of these dates, which I don't remember, on December the. Wait, I'll check on the website. I have a channeling, online channeling I have planned about something about time.
Are you gonna channel Enrico for it?
10th of December, so it's Saturday, Sunday. So it's Sunday. I think we can channel there, and maybe we can also do a live broadcasting and also a hangout parallel to the live broadcasting, where you can have like a hangout like this, so that people can ask questions.
Yeah.
And about time. So my perspective is that this is something really strange. The beings which I have channeled, they have showed several times that, maybe many times, that you can accept time as a bubble. Because there are many ways how you can describe one understanding through many perspectives. And again, we here are like several billion trillion beings living in this universe that can describe the universe also in completely different ways and see this universe as a completely ways. So there is not one meaning, or there is not one point of view how you can see things. And but this point of view, what they were sharing is that imagine you in a bubble, that everything you see around is encapsulated in a bubble. It's like they said, it is like an octave. Everything resonates within this reality bubble, and there are in each and every bubble there is a different way how universe exploits itself. How it's like a in there's like a imagine like these bee nests. They're like these small six triangles, not triangles. This I don't know how to call the shape. The six angle shapes in the bee puzzles, and you're one in them. And right now you're also in a one reality bubble, where this happening is happening as it's happening in this now state, as it's happening right now. But whenever you change your state, whenever you change your energy, whenever you make a new decision, you exit this bubble and float in another bubble. For example, you exit this room and go into a next room, and there's a different happening right there. So this happens in our reality also, that we shift these bubbles from one bubble and then to another bubble. For example, we're in countryside and we're there, when here, when we drive around, and we are in a bubble of driving, when we're a bubble of there, and we go and float through these reality bubbles consciously all the time. And by our decisions and by our energies that make our feel this way, make our feel sad, make our feel good, that are helping us to make the decision to go in a different direction that we choose to. So, and what they understand, what we want to share is that, and these bubbles are, some of them are more connected to each other and some are more farther away. But to go to another reality that you prefer to, you can go to the path of these bubbles, like go there, then go left to make a right, and you are in your way of the reality you wish to enter to. But there's another way of leaving your body and going out of body energetically, and then, as they say, then you can go through in and any other reality you wish to go to. You can enter and be in any other reality that you wish to enter to. It's something like in dreams, that we go and we see other realities, we see other octaves, as they say. But also, what they shared is, and I decided to practice this a little bit more, but then I get really freaked out, and I asked them, "Is there? Can you show me pictures of other realities which I'm having right now?" And they said, they showed me images and like opened a gate to see those realities, and was like amazed. I was in a one reality, highly uplifted. I was next to a sea. I was somewhere abroad, Latvia, and it was a highly exciting time there. And they showed me another bubble, and I wanted to go there and ask, can I go there? Yes, you can go there. And that's what your consciousness is doing, is going from another reality bubble to another. You can go instantly to that bubble, but what you can feel there, what you will feel there, is that you will have this energy transformational feeling, that you go outside of the body and you've been sucked into this reality, and you have an unpleasant feeling right there at that point, which I was afraid of, and I didn't want to do it. Just continue to observe that another reality. And then they showed me another reality, which I have an orange sports car. I don't know what the sports car was, and I was such a busy person. I was a busy person. I said, "Hey, you busy person, stop right there. I want to talk to you." And he said, "No, no, I don't want to talk to you. You're living in some kind of a history." And I said that was the future of me, and that history is so boring. The history is so dense in energy. It's like a cold winter and so on. I don't want to talk, and we'll just leave away. And it was like, well, that person is really busy. But the more I getting to the future state, the more and more I see connections with that reality. I'm seeing like parallel to this reality. I'm walking parallel to that reality. But I'm having a choice whether I want to go to that reality or not, because by seeing that reality, I can make decisions going to different reality bubbles, changing my energy that can change my future life completely, or in a way, in a different way. So this was when we were talking about time. So also I think time is again numbers that are mathematics that are used in this universe to pinpoint out something, to pinpoint out everything, and to use this as a matrix of finding, getting, doing stuff in our life, getting track of stuff in our life. So I think numbers is something that's really strongly connected with us and with the universal sacred mathematics as such. Well, anyway, so I would like to leave you with this topic, and thanks Elvis, Carlos, Modestas, Olga, and Oscars for being in this chat room, and thank you others that are watching on the YouTube. Somebody's writing awesome hangout.
Thank you guys for speaking.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
And have a good evening. Bye.
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 Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm just going through. Okay, bye. Thanks. Thank you. Blah blah
I just want to say, everyone, please join us if you do want to.
blah. But Modestas, that's what will happen in any case. They will join if they will want to, but you can make it a little bit different. Please join us the next time. Okay, so bye everybody. I'm stopping the live transmission, and the parrot is also saying bye.